My name's Carter. I'm from Yuba City. It's about an hour north of Sacramento. Um, Getting things set up, I want to be able to really grow this spring. When you guys talk about systems, what exactly does that mean? Like, can you give an example of a system and how it would work so that way I can get things set up? I think I have an idea of it, but I'm not exactly sure of what exactly it is.
So what's your interpretation of a system right now? And then I'll give you my answer.
Basically, like like a piece of paper that has a breakdown of this is how you do this. So like it could say, when you pull up to the property, this is what you look for. This is how you weed eat. This is how you mow. This is the order you do it. Is that basically what you're talking about, or is it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
a
It
lot
seems
of
too simple.
yeah, totally. A lot of times people think that you got to write things down. And definitely most systems you can write down. Here's the thing. Starting your car is a system. Here's the system for some cars. Push a button. For other cars, it is turn a key. For others, it is put the key inside of a certain slot. For others, it is push the button on the remote. Every single car has a system for starting it. Whether or not you write it down is inconsequential. I think everyone has monetized the creation of systems inside of the business ecosystem because they know they can sell you something that's written down and then call it you are systematizing your business. All there needs to be is system is simply something in my mind that is done every single time and has the same result every single time. If you push this button, your car starts. If you push this button, your car unlocks. Like there is a very clear start and an end result of doing that action. And so when you create an estimate, for example, there needs to be a very clear, defined way of creating the estimate. I put my notes here. I then am going to copy and paste that into this. This is the format I'm going to use every single time. And this is the delivery mechanism, whether it be email or SMS or whatever it might be. And it's done the same way every single time. And when you get out of the systems is when you start to create variation. Oh, well, now today I'm not going to push the button to start the ignition. I'm going to crawl underneath and try to do it manually underneath the car and push the button and when jerry rig the wiring. That is when you start getting out of the systems and creating issues. And so I really believe a system is simply something that's followed every single time, has predictable inputs and outputs. What are the inputs? The estimate notes, the time in which you're going to do them, where you're going to put them inside the software, the outputs, what the formatting looks like, what the pricing looks like to the customer. And we're just talking right now about the system of creating an estimate. There's one for creating an invoicing, your pricing, your billing, the way that you collect card information. All these systems are simply predictable inputs with predictable outputs that happen every single time the same way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's way simpler than I thought because I would think I was overcomplicating it a lot.
Yeah, and total
So,
and in this industry,
oh,
most people complicate because they can sell you something. It's like, I'm gonna give you the 58-step process for doing a sale for your lawn care business. I'm gonna sell it to you for $100. It's like, look, I really don't care how you do your estimate. It's that you follow the same pattern every single time because having a good system, you can only improve your system if you have a system and then you slowly incrementally start manipulating it, right? Like the timing, where you put the estimate notes, what your pricing is, your pricing matrix. You can only tweak it and make it better if you follow it the same way every single time. And what happens is some people will be like, well, sometimes I take the estimate in person. Sometimes I will write it down on a piece of paper in my truck. Sometimes I'll do it verbally and then I'll put it in after they've accepted the quote. I'll put it into the CRM. Sometimes I don't put it in the CRM. I just put the job on the schedule. That's when you're out of the systems and that's when you do not have a system. But having a system is simply a predictable way of doing the exact same thing every single time. And only once you create the system can you actually start to tweak it and make it better. You cannot improve something that is every single time different. And every single time you do an estimate, every single time you do an invoice, every single time you do a job, it looks different inside of your CRM. Every single time your crew looks at the job, it looks different. The job notes look different. They're formatted differently every single time. You cannot improve on something that is consistently changing every single time you use it inside your business.